Hey guys, it is Prep Week. So glad you have chosen to join the Fast Way to Fat Loss, and I'm even more appreciative that you have chosen me as your coach. So let's talk about what we're going to discuss this week. So this is week 1 Prep Week. Prep Week is simply what it says it is. We are prepping our pantries. We are prepping our minds to wrap our heads around intermittent fasting, whole food nutrition, tracking in MyFitnessPal. So yeah, this week is going to feel a little bit overwhelming, and it has for everyone. I was a first-time client as well at some point, and I felt the same as you feel, but that is exactly why you have joined for the one-on-one coaching and the support and the accountability, because we're going to walk through this together. So we're going to start the week off talking about intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is simply an eating schedule. We try and work to the 16-8 sort of fasting, eating / feeding window. But guys, for those of you brand new to intermittent fasting, please give yourself some grace. This is going to be kind of difficult the first couple of days, but then most clients say that's the easiest thing to pick up and run with. So the first day, if you're not very accustomed, you can try 12-12. And then the second day, you can aim for a 14-10. And the third or fourth day, you can aim for that 16-8. You will learn very quickly. If you underfuel the day before, your intermittent fasting, that fasting time the next day will be difficult. If you underfuel with protein, carbs, fats, any of it really, you kind of know it and realize it the next day. So when it comes to intermittent fasting, I would say when we begin the macro tracking aspect of everything, you'll learn where you're underfueling and you're overfueling and how to balance everything. And that's when people really hit the stride with intermittent fasting especially. We are going to go over in the group. You may have seen already in this kind of pre-prep week information that we've loaded what is okay to have during that fasting window. So I just want you to look at the graphics. Basically, anything above 40 to 50 calories, anything that has any type of sugar in it, even artificial sweeteners. The only thing that suffices in this fasting window for certain is stevia leaf extract. There is a little bit of information out there saying that monk fruit and erythritol that you'll find in things do not break your fast or cause an insulin response in your body, which is breaking your fast. But I encourage you folks, and we've had some folks do it in previous rounds and it worked out wonderfully, to, if you really want to know if you're breaking your fast with that erythritol or that monk fruit sweetener, take a fasting blood sugar and see. You can talk to me about it, reach out if you're going to do that, and I'll tell you what levels to look at. But that's really the only surefire way to know that you are not breaking your fast. But for those of you coffee lovers, it is always a question like, oh my gosh, I'm so accustomed to this creamer, how am I gonna do this? And a lot of clients end up kind of laughing about it within the first couple of weeks. They're like, okay, we're easing into this, we're making it happen. Or you find a substitution that works for you. And we've listed plenty of those in the graphics there. So intermittent fasting for folks with issues with thyroid, PCOS, for folks that are pregnant currently, postpartum. We don't want you to do too much too fast. So please let me know what your limitations are, like what your health history is, so that I can make sure that we're being very careful with you about that. The next thing we're going to talk about is whole food nutrition. Whole food nutrition, you're going to hear us say multiple times, if it comes from the ground or if it has a mother. Basically shopping the perimeter of the grocery store. Yeah, we'll definitely be shopping the aisles. We'll definitely be getting, snack bars, things like that to eat. But what we're trying to do is decrease that processed food intake that we have become so accustomed to, part of our daily busy lives, and figure out how to still eat healthy on the go. And how to make these shorter meals that are quicker but still very nutritious. And that is kind of what we're going to learn over the 6 weeks, and you're going to continue to learn as you journey through this process. This initial 6 weeks is kind of like, we call it like a boot camp, really, and you don't learn every single thing there is to know in the 6 weeks. That's why it's a journey, and we just keep on keeping on. But I would say that if you know, convenience foods like pre-cut veggies, things like that will be probably easier to do in the very beginning. Some of us still do it 2 years later. I make room in my budget to buy things so that I don't have so much prep to do. And your snacks, we're going to encourage you to read labels, artificial sweeteners, things that you can't, if you can't pronounce the term, if it sounds like something you did in science class, some kind of chemical you messed with, is probably not the best food to be putting in your body. So I always say the best way to sort of think about that is if it has less than 5 or 6 ingredients, it's probably kind of minimally / moderately processed, but we'll go into that as well. So the whole food nutrition, as you make occasional trips to the grocery store, kind of start that practice of weeding some of those less nutritious things out of your pantry. I mean, paying attention to condiments is huge, what the ingredients are in your condiments. We're going to go into the MyFitnessPal app, and we're going to teach you to set your goals. We're going to do that very early on. We're going to set our goals, and we're going to start plugging in our macros, plugging in your food you're eating every day. Initially, it's kind of like a food log. For you to see where you're really sitting with protein. A lot of folks are like, oh, I ate plenty of meat, but we're really undershooting the protein amounts that we should have every day. Many folks feel that same way about carbs and realize that we're really undershooting carbs. And it's really all about finding those nutrient-dense carbs, and you'll hear us say that so much, but those carbs that pack a lot of bang for your buck and are not super, super processed, that kind of go in, cause that quick insulin spike, and then we kind of crash back down. So you've got carbs that are like sweet potatoes, carrots, corn, and then you have your carbs like quinoa, brown rice, white jasmine rice. You've got regular roasting russet potatoes. So many options for carbs. Gluten-free oats. We're also going to show you how to plug in, show you where that deficit is so that you can start working towards meeting those macro goals and really hitting that fasting window feeling really well. But we're going to talk about all this later in the week. I just wanted to come in this email and kind of give you a heads up for what prep week is going to be. But please give yourself some grace this first week, and we're just going to walk through this journey together. And thank you so much again for allowing me to be your coach.